It's amazing what adrenaline will do for you. Here he is coming out the big injury. Everybody's saying, geez, you can't run, Dan. It looks bad. You've struggled over the last 2 weeks. Now all of a sudden the regular season is here. The endorphins have kicked in. There's no limp there at all. Diving forward to get the extra yardage, face in the mud. That's somebody that, forget the money, forget the All-Pros, forget the Hall of Fame. This guy's a competitor. He loves to play football.
And after converting a third down into a first down for the Dolphins, Marino now prepared to try to take them in from the 32-yard line, the New England Patriots, as the second quarter begins. Patriots have had the football twice. They scored on their second possession. This is the second Dolphin possession of the game. 10th play of the drive. Under pressure, Marino fires over the middle, complete to Ingram. Number 21, Ricky Reynolds, is right there, but a good catch on the slant by Ingram.
Here is the brace right here that Marino wears on his Achilles tendon. But of more significance, take a look at the muscle in his right calf right up here. Compare it with the left one, and clearly you can see that it's atrophied. In talking to Dan Marino, I said, what is the thing that is most tedious? He says, Todd, every single day is 200 toe raises. And that might not seem like a big deal, but I've been doing that now for nearly 10 months. And every single day I have to do it, trying to get that muscle back to normal.
Second and 1 after the 9-yard completion to Ingram. Kirby with the football, flags down as he gets first down yardage inside the 20 to about the 18, and we'll await the call from referee Gordon McCarter. Could be a hold.
Or it could be a hand to the face.
Illegal use of hands. Number 72 defense jammed to the face. 5 yards, automatic first down.
Beautifully done, Todd. First down for the Dolphins.
That's such a tough call, though. You know, here you are battling all the time, trying very hard, and sometimes your hands can slip off and come up in the face. And by the way, story regarding Tim Goad, very funny yesterday when I ran into him. You know, we were talking about the thing about Vincent Brown, and I said, but Tim, you're a close second. And he burst out laughing. He said, not a chance. But he did concur with what you said. Vincent Brown, clearly an absolute stallion physically.
The 13-yard line, first and 10 for the Dolphins. Marino throwing, and it's batted down in the crowd at the line of scrimmage. Mike Pitts and Tim Goad were both rushing with their hands up, and one or the other got a hand on the football. So it will be second down 10 for the Dolphins, who have sustained this drive, converting a couple of third and longs along the way. To fill up after the hour-and-a-half deluge that preceded the game. Good protection from Marino, and he finds the target underneath. Terry Kirby down to the 2-yard line. Vincent Brown there with the tackle.
Watch to the left of your screen. One time Chris Slade is finally going to get around Richmond Webb, but this is the advantage of the quick release. Looks like he's going to get creamed at the last minute. That flick of the wrist getting the ball to Kirby. Dan Marino has, without a doubt, the quickest release in the National Football League, and it just frustrates defensive linemen. Look at him set up, the right foot planted. You know, one of the things he emphasized to us yesterday, Jim, was the fact that he said, look, all that other stuff was practice in preseason. You never know what's going to happen when it really starts. The big show, meaning the regular season. And
on first and goal at the 2-yard line, Kirby is stacked up short of the goal line. It'll be second down from inside the 1. Marty Moore. And backup linebacker David Bavaro, number 52, there to make the stop for the Pats.
Just to finish that thought with regards to Marino, he was prophetic where that was concerned, knowing that once the regular season starts, it's a totally different story. He's certainly proven that on the field thus far in the first half.
Dolphins trail 7-zip, second and goal from inside the 1. Again, the middle of the New England defense is more than equal to the task. Goad and Brown stacking it up there for the Patriots. And a flag is down on the far side of the field.
That's going to move him back 5. I'm surprised, Jim. 3 times now Kirby has jumped, and 3 times it's failed. One time he jumped up, he got stuffed. The other time he fumbled. Now this time he gets completely enveloped.
2 men moving and not resetting before the snap. 5 yards. Repeat, second down.
So now an entirely different situation for the Dolphins as they'll move the football out to the 6-yard line. Good look at Bernie Kosar, the new backup quarterback for the Dolphins. Regarded by many, including our studio commentator Joe Gibbs, as a potential critical factor in the AFC East. Ingram with the attempt to catch. The ball popped up in the air and picked off by Dwayne Sapp.
He's out of bounds at the 9. This is all for nothing.
So an interception for the Patriots to avert the Dolphins scoring threat. You see Dan Marino's anger. The ball was into the hands of Mark Ingram, number 82, and then popped back up.
Well, clearly frustrating because the ball is right there. Here to Keith Byers.
It's Byers.
Very catchable ball. He almost gets it at the last minute with the right hand. He pops it up incidentally. Another break, another big turnover for the New England Patriots.
And you saw Sabb's foot out of bounds. We'll be back. Back live at Joe Robbie Stadium. Jim Lampley along with Todd Christensen on first down for the Patriots. From their 9-yard line, Marion Butts takes it out across the 10 before he's knocked down by rookie defensive tackle number 95, Tim Bowens of the Dolphins. The Dolphins kept the football for 13 plays, 64 yards, 7 minutes, 47 seconds, could not score.
That was not a happy man after that. You saw him getting off the field. He was very, very angry. He was screaming at some people. You can see right there, still pointing, not very happy about what happened on the field there.
The ball at the 13-yard line. 2nd and 6 after the 4-yard pickup by Butts. Bledsoe throws in the flat, complete for first down yardage across the 20 to the 23. Vincent Brisby makes the catch. J.B. Brown with the stop.
Conservative throwing down here. Good decision by Bill Parcells. Short passes, getting him out of here, getting out of deep in their own territory. He said that he's not as conservative as everybody thinks. He's got the great quarterback and he's going to use it.
First down with the football marked at the 24. Butts again, and this time he stopped in his own backfield before he can get going. It was number 90, Marco Coleman, penetrating across from the defensive end position.
Take a look at the interception. Watch at the end Byers' right hand in an effort to get the ball on the second try after one-handing with the left hand. Watch his right hand is actually going to flip it up just as he's about to fall down. He reaches up there, and that's when the pop-up comes up for Sapp to make the catch. And Jim, as you pointed out right there, he steps out of bounds at the 9-yard line. But still a big turnover for the Patriots.
On second down, 11, Butts out of the football game. Leroy Thompson in a tailback for New England. Bledsoe gets it away on the screen, and it's Thompson with the football, but he's wrapped up by Brian Cox, the big play linebacker of the Dolphins.
Great play by Brian Cox, not just on the tackle, but the way the screen was set up. Unlike the Dolphins screen, watch the left of your screen, number 51. They set this up very well. Watch the vertical jump. He jumps over the block of Cratch, comes back, and makes the tackle. Great play by Brian Cox.
Dolphin defense looks to Cox for leadership and inspiration. One of the fieriest players in the league. Third down, 11 now from the 23. Regular set for New England. Bledsoe down the middle. Interception opportunity, but it gets away from the Dolphins. Vincent Brisby was the intended receiver. Gene Atkins was there on the coverage for Miami.
And Brisby wasn't very happy about it. He thought he got pushed in the back, and so does Bledsoe as he came downfield. Watch the middle of your screen. Coming at the bottom is going to be Brisby, and watch trailing behind. Does he get pushed before the end of the play? Here comes the throw. Right there, he pushes him down, and Brisby wants to know what's the deal. Evidently, the officials decided that was incidental contact.
Rookie punter Pat O'Neill inside his 10 for the Patriots. O.J. McDuffie comes up to take a look for the Dolphins. He'll take it at the 40. Across the 45 to about the 47-yard line, so it will be excellent field position for Miami. Rod Smith on the tackle for New England. But the Patriots, having capitalized on one scoring threat of their own and averted a Dolphin threat, lead 7-0. We'll be back. Back inside Joe Robbie Stadium. where for the moment we have dry skies. 9:11 to go in the second quarter. The Dolphins, frustrated, trailing 7-0 against New England. Their last possession, they took the ball 64 yards down to the 1-yard line before Dwayne Sabb interception of a pass deflected off the hands of Keith Byers stopped the scoring threat. Now on first down, Terry Kirby with the football for the Dolphins, and he gets near or perhaps across midfield before Bavaro and Willie McGinnis make the stop for the Patriots. First chance we've had to call the name of the 4th player taken in this year's draft, outside linebacker Willie McGinnis.
And he was somebody that yesterday when we were chatting with him, I asked him about the inevitable comparisons that have to happen with himself and LT, because everybody's talking, you know, the comparisons are just too obvious. The linebacker, Parcells, et cetera, et cetera. All he said is that in 10 years he hopes that they'll think of him in the same way as they think of LT, but right now comparisons are unjust.
Play action on 2nd and 6. The downfield throw is broken up at the Dolphin 30. Intended receiver was Ingram, and Myron Guyton was there from his safety position.
And once again, you saw Marino coming downfield, not very happy with either the cut or the route. You can see he's getting a little bit frustrated by that last series. I think it's still spilling over. Here's the route downfield. He gets in the zone, and there he looks. There's what he's frustrated about. He stops instead of keep running. That's what Marino was waiting for. That's why he waved his right hand. Keep going into that seam of the zone.
6 defensive backs in the game for New England. 4 wideouts on the field for Miami on 3rd down 7. Good protection for Marino, but the throw is behind Irving Fryar. And again, Marino not terribly happy with his receiver on that play.
Here's the young pass rusher, number 55. He said it was difficult to adjust to going from a stand-up position because he played defensive end in college. Ron Hiller there does a nice job saying, welcome to the NFL, rookie. It's not going to be that easy.
So Willie McGinnis goes back to the sideline. Jim Arnold comes on to kick it for the Dolphins. Arnold in his 12th year in the league. Long time with the Lions. Before that, a few years with Kansas City. Ray Crittenden deep to receive for New England. Takes it at the 10, gets away from the first man. Near the 20, he's knocked down at the 19-yard line. Chuck Bulla, number 54, downfield to make the tackle for the Dolphins. It's 7-0 New England, and we'll be back. Back live, Patriots sideline in Miami. Cool zone.
Yeah, that Tim Goad, he's a cat that likes it.
He's a cat that really likes that cool zone.
He grooves on the cool zone.
Temperature 91 degrees on the field at game time. First down and 10 for the Patriots, just inside their own 20-yard line. Play action, Bledsoe looking downfield, and he's got his man. Michael Timpson is out of bounds at midfield, knocked out by Michael Stewart, but a 30-yard pickup on first down for the Patriots.
Short corner by Michael Timpson. He runs not the deep corner, but the short corner underneath. Watch number 83 here. Weave a little to the inside, break to the out. Not as deep normally, but look at the throw. Right on the mark between 2 defenders. Nice throw by Bledsoe.
Dolphins picked up Michael Stewart to play strong safety as a free agent from the Rams. The knock on him is that he can get beat deep from time to time.
But clearly that was his zone coverage, and he certainly doesn't match up man for man with Timpson.
On first down, butts the football across midfield to about the 49-yard line. It'll be second down for New England after the tackle by Chuck Bulla from his middle linebacker position. Rick Meyer set an NFL rookie record last year with 2,833 yards passing. But what if Drew Bledsoe had played all 16 games, Todd?
Well, I think that clearly he would have been past Meyer, and everybody got excited about the records that he set. But there's the projection. If he'd had those other 3 games, 3,000 yards and 18 touchdowns by a rookie in his inaugural season in the NFL, that'd be nothing to sneeze at.
On second down, 7, butts out of the game. Thompson in at tailback. You see the numbers on Bledsoe. This is Thompson. Good yardage down to the 45-yard line. J.B. Brown making the stop from his corner position for Miami.
Bringing in Thompson is a little bit of a change of pace. They get used to getting banged around with butts between the tackles, and suddenly they have a guy that can bounce to the outside. Thompson is somebody who really didn't necessarily get his due in Pittsburgh, didn't get his opportunities because of Barry Foster. And of course, the rumor was that they got him because of the injuries to the others. I think that if everyone would have been completely healthy, they still would have wanted to acquire Leroy Thompson here in New England.
It was crowded for a while in Pittsburgh with Barry Foster, Tim Worley, and Leroy Thompson. Now only Foster remains. Third down, 2 yards to go for the Patriots. Need to get the football to the 42 for a first down. Flags down as Thompson is thrown for a loss. It was Chris Singleton, number 55, who burst across the line for Miami.
I don't think that New England got the playoff in time, but Gordon McCarter didn't like the way he was hit, and I think he's going to call a personal foul.
Delay of game, offense, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 55 defense. A hit after the whistle. By rule, the 5-yard penalty is declined. We enforce for the major penalty. Mr. Fisher. Yes, sir.
Terrific break for the Patriots, and the story there, of course, is that Singleton was in 1990 New England's first-round draft choice.
Yeah, interesting point here is the fact that Singleton, how many times have you seen that, Jim, where in a situation there's a hit after the whistle, it looks like it's, well, everybody's no big deal, the whistle's blown. That time Gordon McCarter decided that's enough, I'm throwing the flag. Right there the whistle's blown, you can see clearly he's slowing down. But right there Singleton puts the hit on him, and there's Thompson gets up and doesn't appreciate it, but Gordon McCarter steps in between with the yellow linen. That's the final say.
So a tough moment for Singleton, hoping to make a mark against his old team today. The cynical fan in New England would say, well, he never made a hit like that in 4 years here with us.
And he was the 8th pick of the draft. I believe it was in '92. He led the Dolphins in tackles during the preseason.
First down at the 29-yard line for Bledsoe and the Patriots. In the end zone, number 82, the intended target, is Vincent Brisby, and J.B. Brown had the near interception for the Dolphins.
That was a good piece of defense there. Take a look at Brisby. He's going to get the inside on him. He's running the fade. Normally this is an outside route. Bounces to the out. Now he cuts back. He's going to cut across his shoulder right there. The ball is right where it should be, but take a look at Brown anticipating, jumping over the top, almost coming up with a catch. Good piece of defense there by J.B. Brown. Somewhat of a guy who is in the shadow of Troy Vincent and some of the other defensive backs, but an outstanding corner in his own right.
2nd and 10 now for New England. Football right in the middle of that soaked infield area. It's Kevin Turner with the reception, and Turner is close to the first down as he's knocked out by Michael Stewart down at about the 22-yard line. I say close to the first down. Let's knock that back to a gain of about 7. It'll be 3rd down 3.
Kevin Turner is in that mold of great fullbacks who catch the ball out of the backfield and do all the dirty stuff and block, but he has great hands. You see, very reliable, and that's where Bledsoe goes to him, is when he needs that 6 and 7 yards. It reminds you a lot of Tom Rathman, Daryl Johnston of the Cowboys.
I started to say, he's kind of a poor man's Daryl Johnston, isn't he?
I think in another year he won't be poor man's anymore. He looks good today.
3rd down and 4. The football at the 23. Underneath to Michael Timpson, and Timpson is close to the first down as J.B. Brown wraps him up from behind. It looks to me as though he's got the necessary yardage to move the chains. And
one of the advantages, Jim, of being in the mud, if you notice this, is when Bledsoe went back to pass, when he faded back, the pass rushers couldn't get anything going. Timpson just runs what's called a little delay route. Looks like he's going to go someplace, but instead just circles up underneath the zone. The Dolphins a little bit too deep to prevent the first down.
So after the first down conversion throw by Bledsoe, it'll be first down for New England at the 18-yard line. Butts back in the game. Thompson out. Turner in motion. Butts with the football behind him. Good job of coming across to slow that play down by the Dolphins. And Butts will wind up with no gain.
Chris Singleton in on the tackle. A little retribution for that 15-yard penalty. One of the effective things of this drive, Jim, is not simply the fact that they're getting into scoring position, but they're taking a lot of time off the clock now at 4:30 and running. And everybody that knows anything about the NFL says that the best way to stop the Miami offense is to keep Dan Marino on the bench.
Patriots have played their game plan to perfection in the first half, mixing the run with the pass, possessing the ball for long periods. 2nd and 10 into the end zone, picked off. Brisby was the intended receiver. The man who elects to bring it out of the end zone is number 23, Troy Vincent. So just as the Patriots averted a Dolphin scoring threat with an interception, now the Dolphins return the favor.
One of the problems here is that Bill Parcells pointed out with regards to Drew Bledsoe is the point that he made some bad decisions. Here was one of them. Inside the 20-yard line here, he throws into double coverage down near the goal line. Take a look near the goal line, right around here. That's double coverage. Look at the two Dolphins waiting on the ball. He forces it up there, and the tip by Adkins enables Vincent to come up with the football.
And Vincent, as you saw, got it out to the 9-yard line after choosing to bring it out of the end zone. So Adkins and Vincent teaming to force the interception, and the Patriots come up with no score. On first down, Terry Kirby with the ball for the Dolphins, and flags fly as Kirby gets across the 10 before being knocked down by Ray Agnew.
Marino was screaming back there, screaming for the face mask penalty, and then finally Gordon McCarter saw it and said, "Okay, Dan, I see it," and he threw the flag. One thing you'd have to say about Marino today, he is definitely into the game emotionally.
5-yard penalty, number 92 defense, repeat first down.
Marino has never played a blasé game in his life.
I think you're right. Ray Agnew with the penalty. Dan Marino with his arms out wants to know if he's got the right formation for what it is he wants to do. His frustration now with the coaching staff. He's frustrated everybody, pointing out receivers and running backs and coaches.
Well, the Dolphins didn't play very well in their last 2 preseason games, so they needed to reshuffle things a little bit coming in here today. On first down from the 18, Kirby gets outside and gets good yardage out to the 25-yard line before being knocked out of bounds. Vincent Brown was there, along with Harlan Barnett, the strong safety, to make the tackle for New England.
Well, this is certainly something that Don Shula wants to see. 5 yards a crack here running the football. And Terry Kirby, as we mentioned at the outset, somebody that has to really establish himself as an NFL runner, not just a pass catcher.
There are the numbers on Kirby. McDuffie in the football game for Ingram at wide receiver for the Dolphins. The pitch again to Kirby. And again, good running room around the right side. He's all the way out to the 35-yard line. Clock will continue to run. Under 3 minutes now to go before halftime. Barnett again there to make the stop for New England.
Good job on the right side of the offensive line. Keith Jackson, not normally known for his blocking ability, is able to hook Sab, and that enables Kirby to get to the outside. And right there, maybe without the mud, he could have kept his feet and got additional yardage. Good job there by Ron Heller and Keith Jackson.
Dolphins are looking for much tougher, more aggressive play from Jackson this year. They freely state that they were disappointed in his play last year, and they'll enjoy seeing that block on the films. So it's another first down for Miami. This time the ball at the 36, and now Marino wants to go down the middle in the air. Mark Ingram will go all the way. Marino's back. .64-yard touchdown pass is the 299th of Dan Marino's career. Stoyanovich to tie the football game. Two minutes, 15 seconds to go before halftime, and we are even now on the scoreboard at 7 apiece.
Again, one of the advantages of being in the mud is the fact the pass rush can't get to him, and that enables him to come downfield and get deep. Watch when Marino goes back here. The pass rushers just can't get to him. They're churning in the mud. And I don't know how many quarterbacks in the league could make this throw right on the money. Catches him in stride on the post pattern. What a throw by Marino. And is he excited about it? Take a look at the short post. This really isn't that bad of coverage by Hurst. He beats him by about 1.5 yards, and he's thinking right there, I've got him covered. But that throw can't be any better. And you see Dan Marino, he's going to point to the sidelines as excited as he is. That's thanking Gary Stevens for the call. Touchdown. Yes. Little of that Wayne Gretzky with the arm pump, and he points over to Gary Stevens and says, nice call.
Not even the tiniest little bit of arc on that throw, Todd.
Yeah, you know what? I've seen a lot of great quarterbacks, as have you. You know, there's John Elway and the way they throw the balls. But that release and that quickness, the way the ball gets there in a hurry. And if you're Maurice Hurst, what do you say? Geez, I was only beat by a yard, but there's the ball.
We mentioned that Marino's touchdown pass was the 299th of his career. With one more, he becomes the second quarterback in National Football League history to pass 300 touchdown passes. And Fran Tarkenton, as you see there, was the only other man to achieve that distinction. Tarkenton needed a few more years to do it than will Marino if Dan gets that one more.
You're right. I was about to point out there that that's the big significant factor there. All of this done in a mere 11 seasons. Amazing.
So Stoyanovich will kick from the 30. Corey Kroom and Ray Crittenden are deep for New England. You can see that it is the left foot of Marino, not the Achilles damaged right foot, that's getting work from the trainer there. Probably just cleaning off the cleats on his shoes. In case you've just joined us, we're in the second quarter at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, where the New England Patriots took a 7-0 lead in the first quarter on a 1-yard touchdown run by fullback Kevin Turner. And just moments ago, Dan Marino got the Dolphins even on the scoreboard with a 64-yard shot to Mark Ingram.
If you just joined us, that's too bad, because maybe this hasn't been all that artistic, but this has been a good football game. I like the way it's been played. Physical, you know, a little bit of the mud. I like it. It's been good.
That drive for the Dolphins, more than 90 yards after the interception that stopped New England's threat. Crittenden with the kickoff gets across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. And as we approach the 2-minute warning before the end of the first half, in 2 weeks, Sequest will return to NBC with a spectacular 2-hour season premiere. It's a whole new Sequest with cast members, locations, wondrous discoveries. It all returns 2 weeks from tonight right here on NBC. 2-hour season premiere of Roy Scheider and Sequest. 2:05 to go before halftime. Let's see what Bledsoe and company can do now from their own 32. Tailback is Thompson, number 36, who has split time just about equally with Fox here in the first half. Bledsoe pumps twice and finally looks for number 82, Vincent Brisby, and Brisby was unable to gather it in. J.B. Brown on the coverage. Clock reaches 2 minutes to go before halftime. It's 7 apiece, Dolphins, Pats, and we'll be back. Jim Lamplin, Todd Christensen back live in still baseball appointed Joe Robbie Stadium. New England Patriots and Miami Dolphins tied up at 7 apiece. Stay with us at the half. For the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report, Greg Gumbel, Joe Gibbs, and Mike Ditka will bring you up to date with scores and highlights of all the action from around the league that is coming up at halftime. The league wanted scoring, and they got it in the first half of action today between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. A lot of touchdowns. Bledsoe.
Oh, what a
Second
catch.
down. Spectacular catch by tight end Ben Coates. Coates' first catch of the football game, and what a way to reintroduce himself to the Dolphins secondary. Free safety Gene Atkins made the stop for the Dolphins.
When I asked Bill Parcells yesterday, I said, contrast him with Mark Bavaro, and he said, well, you know what? He's bigger and he's faster. And what hands there. Diving catch. Great job by Ben Coates.
First down in Dolphin territory. It's Leroy Thompson with the football. Chuck Bulla making the stop for Miami after Thompson has a gain of about 4 yards across the 40 down to about the 37-yard line. Clock running. Bledsoe hurries the Pats up to the line. And that's Kevin Turner coming out of the backfield to make the catch and move the chains with a first down for the Patriots at the 30-yard line. Frankie Smith makes the stop for the Dolphins. Patriots use a timeout.
Once again, they're in a situation where they're in the mud. It's going to help him passing.
We'll be back in a moment. We mentioned that there was no tarp on the field when rain fell for an hour and a half prior to today's game. And as a result, the baseball infield section of the field is a quagmire. And you see players attempting to adjust to it on a play-by-play basis.
An interesting Bud Grant, the great coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and later, of course, the Minnesota Vikings, made the point that when it was muddy, when it was bad field conditions, that's when he wanted to throw, because all of the advantage was to the offense. They couldn't cover and they couldn't pass as effectively in quagmires.
Marino threw the 64-yard touchdown shot to Ingram out of that muddy quagmire. In it, Bledsoe completes to Vincent Brisby. J.B. Brown knocks him out of bounds. Patriots stop the clock with 1 tick under a minute to go before halftime.
I guess it's too easy to say that a year later he has a lot more experience, a lot more poise, et cetera, but it does look to me like he's much more in command of the offense. He doesn't look like he's questioning anything that comes in from the sidelines. He's much more self-assured than he was last year, and of course the issue too is that he's healthy.
Parcells' quote on Bledsoe in that regard, and it's typical Parcells. Well, at least now he knows that there's a lot he doesn't know. It's better than last year when he didn't know how much he didn't know. Second down 3, play fake. Bledsoe has a man.
What a catch! That's
Kevin Turner held on. Troy Vincent with the hit. And Kevin Turner held on to the football.
What a terrific catch. He's got the out and up route on Brian Cox man for man. Troy Vincent, it appeared to me, had time to get in front and knock the ball down, but instead goes for the knockout and pays the price because Turner makes the catch.
And Turner goes off the field. And now the clock stops with 31 seconds to go.
Here you see Kevin Turner. Kevin Turner's a man of motion. He's going to go out and up on Brian Cox. Now, at the end of the play, you're going to see that Vincent is going to come over and lay the lick on him. He has him beat, but it looks like he has time to jump in front and bat the thing down. Instead, he goes for the big knockout, and Turner is going to have nothing of it. What a great catch by that young fullback, hanging on and taking that shot from Vincent, knowing that it's going to come and still making the catch.
Second or third terrific play in the football game for Kevin Turner, the third-year player out of Alabama, and after a 1-play absence, he is back on the field.
Now that's some toughness there.
Vincent's got to be thinking, who is that guy?
Well, you know, the other thing too is we talk about Kevin Turner, another one of the unsung heroes. We talk about all the good things that he does. He's the lead blocker for Thompson and for Buck. He's a protector for the quarterback, and it seems particularly in the last 2 series, every time Bledsoe's needed a completion, that's the man he's gone to.
And after Bledsoe's clock stopper, it is second down goal with, as you see, 31 seconds left. Bledsoe throws to Coates, and Coates holds on. Atkins was there on the coverage, but a big play from quarterback and tight end, and the Patriots get the touchdown before halftime.
Jim, you're absolutely right. That really wasn't a terrific throw at all. But Ben Coates makes the great catch.
Bahr will come on to try to add point number 14. Matt Bahr, one of the small number of Parcells approved place kickers in the league. And out of Zolak's hold, the kick is good. So the Patriots lead 14-7 with 25 seconds left before the half after this touchdown pass.
Pretty standard fare. Here it is. Coates is going to go to the corner. They're going to go with a play action fake. Fullback's going to be in the flat. Here's the play action fake. Watch as Bledsoe really has bad footing. The thing's a little bit discombobulated. He throws off of his back foot. Not a terrific throw at all, but here's the advantage of being 6'5" and a former basketball player. Ben Coates, very athletic catch. Nice job for the Patriots. This is the reason why they're starting to compare him to Eric Green and Shannon Sharp as being arguably one of the 2 or 3 best tight ends in the league.
Bledsoe making the throw under pressure. Got rid of it there with bad footing and just enough on it for Coates to catch it for the touchdown. It was Singleton, the former New England #1, who was there on top of Bledsoe as the touchdown catch was being made by that man, Ben Coates.
Last year, Ben Coates, by the way, had 8 touchdown catches, which tied the club record for tight ends held by the great Russ Francis a number of years ago. And now he's off to another good start. He also had 53 balls.
And a look at the numbers on the scoring drive. 8 plays, 68 yards, 1 minute 50 seconds.
Should also mention that the key play of that drive, of course, was the diving catch by Ben Coates in the middle of the field.
And the a great catch by Kevin Turner down at the 2-yard line to set up the touchdown. There were 2 spectacular catches by New England receivers in the drive. And of course that drive followed immediately on the heels of Marino's 64-yard touchdown pass to Ingram. So the Patriots showed the capability of answering back. Now O'Neill's kick is taken inside the 5 by O.J. McDuffie. And McDuffie gets out across the 25, out across the 30 to about the 34-yard line. Leroy Thompson making the stop for the Patriots. Stay with us at the half for the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Greg Gumbel, Joe Gibbs, Mike Ditka bringing you up to date with scores and highlights of all the action from around the league. That's coming up after 19 more seconds of playing time here. Marino will have 4 wide receivers on the field. They'll be going against New England's 6 defensive backs. Terry Kirby is the only setback in the game for the Dolphins. Make it 7 defensive backs now on the field for the Patriots. Plenty of time, as you might expect. Good shot to number 81 McDuffie. He gets across the 50 to about the 47 before Corwin Brown makes the stop for the Patriots.
You notice Dan Marino right on top of things too. He actually called timeout before the run was over. He was still in the run, and it was interesting because Gordon McCarter's telling him, wait, we got to see the plays dead. And then
no, stop the clock now. He's not going to run that much farther anyway.
And that man's not very happy. He's saying to himself, we've got 7 defensive backs. How could you let that happen? Ricky Reynolds is high-priced free agent. He's screaming at it, not pleased at all.
That's not what he was saying about Reynolds behind his back yesterday, when he was considerably more courteous to the new acquisition.
Well, there's something about the sidelines, Jim, that gives you the idea that it's very different. The emotions are high. Dan Marino the same way. Very, very passive yesterday, very casual, and all of a sudden he puts on the uniform, and it's a different situation. It's a Jekyll and Hyde.
The season has begun.
Good.
Parcells blistering Reynolds there, much the way he consistently blistered his rookie quarterback Bledsoe in front of Patriot crowds at Foxborough a year ago.
Well, in this case, I think it was very justified. You got 7 defensive backs. There's no way you should be giving up a nearly 20-yard gain there.
From the 47. Perhaps time for as many as 3 plays, maybe only 2. And another catch against the 7 defensive backs. This time it's Scott Miller who gets in front of Rod Smith